First, it went up by 3% in January, and it was only 20 pesos, give or take. You can absorb that, right? It's just 20 pesos. Then it didn't stop there. The first pricing window in 2022, we saw fuel prices jump to 7 cedis per liter, and Ghanaians thought this is the highest fuel is going to get. You hadn't seen anything yet, my friends. The first week of March, fuel broke 8 cedis, and we were all tweeting about it. When you went on Twitter, there were tweets and memes about breaking the 8. And then experts came out to say by the 16th of March, fuel was going to cross the 10 cedi mark. Lo and behold, when 16th came, fuel was retailing at 10 cedis. And as of yesterday, fuel prices have gone up again. It's not just fuel that has gone up. Food prices have also gone up, partly because fuel prices have gone up. Now, if you look at data, inflation, food inflation for February has gone up by 17.4%. What are some of the items that have contributed to this jump? Water went up by 24.8%. Yes, pure water. Oils and fats that you use for frying and cooking your foods went up by 23.5%. And cereals, maize, beans, you name it, 20.3%. These are all statistics. You might wonder what really went up. Bread went from 10 cedis to 12 cedis. A crate of eggs went from 20 cedis to 25 cedis. Kenke, 1.5 to 2 cedis. A bag of rice being a staple, went from 62 cedis to 70 cedis. A plate of jollof went from 10 cedis to 12 cedis. Yam went from 10 cedis a tuber to 15 cedis. Water went up on the 27th of January from 20 pesos rather, to 30 pesos. Milk products also increased, and we also saw the price of Hausa cocoa going up. That is the state of food security in the country. Prices are going up by the daily, and there's no indication that they're going to go down, because everything from the cost of production indicates that things will go up. And it just doesn't stop there. If you look at the consumer price index done by the Ghana Statistical Service, the cost of living also at home has been going up. The cost of water and electricity is inflated by 15.7% from 13.9 in January. And if you look at the drivers of inflation, if you look at housing, water, electricity, above national inflation, 25.4%. What does this mean? It means that if we use national inflation, if your water bill was 100 cedis, you would have been paying 115.7 cedis. But because inflation is 25.4%, your water bill is now 125 cedis. That's an extra 25 cedis on top of what you should have been paying if all factors were constant. And it doesn't stop there. The cost of electricity has also gone up by the same margin, to mean if you're paying 100 cedis for electricity, now you pay 125 cedis. A lot has been said. You're feeling the hit. I'm feeling the hit, definitely. But we want to get to the root of it. What are some of the factors that are contributing to the tough economic times that Ghanaians are going through? When we channel these numbers, they sound like textbook economics. So today we want to break them down and show you the trickle-down effect and how and why you're feeling the heat. I'll not be alone. I'm joined by experts who will be putting things into context. Joe Jackson will be joining us via phone. He is the Director of Operations at Deluxe Finance. He's also a revered economist. We'll be joined also by David Arthur. He is the CEO of ZYZ Leatherworks, and also Kwame A+, who's a businessman and an activist. Well, we're back with our guest in studio, David Arthur, CEO of ZYZ Leatherworks. David, thank you for making time.
Thank you.
Oh, you look happy. Are you happy?
No. Well, I'm always feeling hilly.
Yes. So, David, a lot of people have been saying Ghana is hot.
Right.
You're a businessman. Besides being a Ghanaian, you're a businessman. But before we get to the business aspect, I just want to know, as a Ghanaian, are you feeling the heat?
Yeah, I'm feeling it very well. Because, one, my children are in school. The money I give them to school, they come back and tell me that now the rice at the school is gone up. So I have to add up to what they take from me to school. And then transportation from the house to the school they say is gone up. So that one too is an addition. And then also the materials that we buy from the market. Since January, we were buying the glue at 95 cedis. Now it is 127. 127. Leather, which we were buying at 8 cedis per square. Now it is 13 cedis per square. You see it. And now, as a CEO of the business, my workers are also telling me that, boss, now things are gone up. So you have to add up to our money. But the reality is that I have just put a small margin, you see it, on the sale, the price of the shoe. But when the customers come, then they start to say, oh, Z, the country is hard and this and that. So reduce the money, reduce the price of, you see. So whilst all the materials and everything has gone up, as a CEO, my margin that I put on my shoes are still there. Mm-hmm. So I'm really, really feeling it.
Thank you, David, for opening up your heart, because these things are not easy to talk about. For anybody, they're not easy to talk about. We want to be joined by Kwame A+, who's a businessman and an activist on phone, and we want to also get his perspective of the current economic times. Kwame, thank you for making time. Can you hear me?
You're welcome. Thank you.
Kwame, when we say Ghana is hot, and I know you do a lot of activism work and you talk to very many Ghanaians at the ground level, what are they saying? How are they feeling when they say Ghana is hot from a local person's point of view? What does it mean?
Thank you very much. I think that we have to be honest. If we are not honest, another government will come and we will face the same issue. Ghana will never be cold. Ghana will always be hot, and Ghana has always been hot. The only problem is that the politicians will always make political capital out of what is happening currently and use that to gain votes. And they will come and suffer what their predecessors suffered. Because it is like this. There are so many issues that will affect the dollar. There are so many issues that will affect fuel prices. There are so many issues that are beyond our control. However, the politicians fail to tell the truth, like Dr. Bawumia campaigning on how he's going to arrest the dollar. You cannot do it. And the problem that MPP is facing is that they promise more than they can achieve. And that is the problem. The ordinary people are suffering. They have always been suffering. And those who want to win power will benefit from the suffrage of the people and everything that is happening, and will not tell the people the truth, and they'll come and suffer more. So this is the trend. And this is the reason why everybody is suffering. It is not today. Nobody in opposition must complain with fuel prices. Nobody must campaign with fuel prices. Nobody can reduce fuel prices. Nobody can reduce can stabilize the dollar. It is beyond our control. The fundamental things that have to be done to salvage these two issues that affect everything are not being done, and that is where the problem is.
Kwame, when you say suffering, it sounds blanket, because we want to put it into context. Like when people say suffering, the government will be like, yeah, we know times are hard, but times are hard everywhere. How difficult are times for Ghanaians right now? What are they going through?
Yes, this is Ghana. Until we start producing, until energy prices are affordable for people to come into this country and start producing here. If you're going to spend all our money to buy dollars and go and import, if you're going to import everything, including toothpick, times will be hard, and times has always been hard. The fundamental issues that we have not touched. And I don't want to come on your show and pretend as if times are hard just now. Kufuor came to power 8 years ago. And before Kufuor came to power, times were hard. From Kwame Nkrumah's time, times were hard. Times have always been hard. Why? Because everybody, all of us doing advocacy, all of us in the media, are not touching on the fundamental issues. So yes, the ordinary Ghanaian is suffering.
In your opinion, what are the fundamental issues that we need to be addressing?
The fundamental issues that we need to be addressing is that we have to take charge of our natural resources. Our natural resources have been mortgaged, and so when you send cocoa out there, you don't get dollars back. There's no dollar coming in the system. You're only changing. You're only fighting over the little that you get. everything has been mortgaged. It was not mortgaged by Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo didn't tell the truth. That is where his problem is. He and his people didn't tell the truth before coming to power. That is where the problem is. They told people that they're going to change this country in 180 days and so and so. All of those were campaign talk. And I think that those in opposition now must learn from it. Until Ghana starts producing what we eat here, until we stop importing cassava from China, until we stop importing vegetables from Burkina Faso, the worst part of Ghana in terms of fertile soil is better than the best part of soil in Burkina Faso. Yet you import tomatoes, vegetables from South Africa and Burkina Faso. Until these issues are dealt with, times will continue to be hard. And today, you have to save this interview. Another government will come, MPP, looking at what they are doing, it doesn't look like they are going to break the 8. And if they go to opposition and another government comes, call me around the same time and let's talk about hard times, because it is going to get harder.
Okay, Kwame, hold that thought. David, Kwame is contextualizing all the issues that are going wrong with the economy, but you feel the hit in the business. Right. How has cost of production changed over the years? He says the problems did not start now. Right. NPP came into power 8 years ago. Right. How was he doing business 8 years ago, and how is he doing business now?
Yeah, I think 8 years ago and now it has changed a little. Is it? Because let me say this. He said that the fundamentals, if we get the fundamentals right, we get everything moving. Now what is happening is we are not exporting. I'm into the footwear business. You see it? And 99% of the footwear we use in Ghana are all imported. You see?
99%.
99% of what we use in Ghana are all imported. So it means the small dollar that is in the system, these people will come and then they struggle with the dollar and then use it to import. Meanwhile, we have a lot of local industries here who should be, their capacity should be increased, you see, so that they can stabilize the economy. I have a shop in Freetown, you see, so I export shoes to Freetown, you see. So when I export, the money that I get is dollars, you see it. So if a lot of people start this way, that we export what we are doing, or even produce more to cushion what we use here, then it means there will be less stress on the dollar.
How much are you using to produce right now? What do your profit margins look like? And maybe you could compare it to a couple of years back.
A couple of years, let me put the profit margin at 25. Now, because customers are saying the country is hard, it has dropped to about 7%. You see it? So now, before it was okay, now because of the pressures that people are feeling, and they don't have the money to pay more. You see it? So it means my profit margin has reduced. So what I have to do also is to re-strategize to see how I'll increase my profit. You see, but thank God, since the COVID came, the dynamics of business have changed, because now people are not coming to the shop to buy. Now everything has moved to the social media. So now what we are doing now is to let our presence be felt more on social media.
Okay, Kwame, you're also in business, right?
Yes.
How is it doing business for you in Ghana currently?
I'm sure that my brother on the other line will attest to the fact that as a businessman, you have to be ready, especially in Ghana, you have to be ready for the unexpected, for dollar price. So, we are used to that. You understand? I am building houses for sale, and every day it keeps changing. So, for instance, 3 days ago, we had to buy a lot of cement. We have to buy a lot of steel because we are not sure where the dollar is going to go to and whether prices are going to change, and also you have to buy a lot of all of these things and hoard them. So look, this system that we are in, I find it very difficult to blame just the politicians or whoever is in power. I find it very difficult. Where I always want to deal with is the wastage in the system and government spending. Yes, but this system that we are in now, look, we live in a system where prisoners are brought into town to come and weed grass in the neighborhood instead of taking them and creating state farms. Akufo-Addo says that he has spent so much money in agri than any other government. It is very true. He has put a lot of money, but where is the money? You don't have you don't have a hectare of state farms. You are importing everything, like he's saying. Look, way back 50-something years ago, Kwame Nkrumah created a shoe factory, had livestock in the north. We are going to eat the meat, we are going to create corned beef, and we are going to use the leather for shoes for police. We don't have to import shoes. 50-something years ago, the people were more intelligent than us. 50 years on, we are here and importing tomatoes from Burkina Faso. We import day-old chick, Akokoba, day-old chick from Holland. Kwame Nkrumah, 50-something years ago, created a Pomazo poultry farm and created a hatchery at Winneba Junction, where we're hatching chicks. You have to take it into dollars and go and buy day-old chicks. You cannot do artificial, how do you call it, surrogate whatever and create human beings. We understand, and you can't make a cook chick. And you are expecting what in this country? So I keep saying that yes, we will all complain and complain and complain until we have a leader who will say, "I'm going to do one village, one dam," which means that we are going to grow crops all year round, and we will use these crops to produce so and so. And the leader will ensure that those who took the money to build the dam have not just dug potholes and run away, and there are dams and they are going to be used to produce crops and all. We will continue talking. We are going to suffer. Ankasa, this one is even small.
And the suffering has been felt across all sectors. Food is one of them. The cost of food has gone up by 17.4%. That's according to the Consumer Price Index of February. And traders all over the country have been complaining about the high food prices. Let's cross over to Kumasi and hear what traders had to say about high food prices.
Trust me, the current fuel prices or increment.
Cities in there, you born of my first money 70 Ghana. Then me man 1 million 20 cities.
20 cedis has no value now. I used to give my wife 70 cedis for housekeeping. Now I give her 120.
Well, we apologize for that. We'll be getting you that sound shortly. But I want to find out from you, just picking up from what Kwame has said. At home, how is it? How has your food budget changed?
Normally what I do is to take to the market. And the past month or something, whenever she comes, you say, "Oh, Z, you have to give more money because the little money that she is taking there is not buying what she was buying before." So now the food budget has changed. I have to add up to what she's taking to the market now because of the price increment on the market. Because rice, everything is gone up from the market. So she's telling me that this is what I have to add up. And even in my area, Asalam Down, when you go to buy food, the workers tell me, "Oh, boss, we always tell you the food prices is gone up. So add something to our money." So this is the pinch that we're facing as business owners. Yeah.
And that is just in Accra. How about Kumasi? Let's listen into what traders in Kumasi had to say about this.
Oh, the food item, indeed, it really costs, like, let me say, especially like rice bag. At first, when you bought one rice bag, it's like 30 cities, but now it has an increase to 40 cities. Like, at first, it was 30 cities, but now it has increased.
Well, we apologize for that, but traders in Kumasi were complaining the food prices had gone up by unimaginable margins, and it was being difficult for people to patronize their goods and buy food. And food is not just the only thing that has gone up. We also want to hear drivers were complaining about fuel prices. Initially, it would cost a certain amount to fill your tanks, and now it has jumped to another amount. But before we even cross to drivers, transport is a big part of your business, right?
Right.
How has the changes in fuel prices and logistics affected your business?
Well, it's added some margin to the cost of production, because now 90% of what I use I buy from Kumasi. You see it, and then transportation from Accra to Kumasi now is 70 cedis. Before it was 45 cedis. So when you go to Kumasi, you have to be shuttling between places to go and buy. So all this has added up to my cost. So basically, that is what has happened.
And by what margins would you say?
It's about between 10 to 15%.
10 to 15%.
Yes, 10 to 15%.
Well, that is just somebody who is in production. How about the people who are in transport? How are they feeling it? Let's listen to what drivers had to say.
Trust me, the current fuel prices or increment in fuel prices is a big blow to, every driver in Ghana, especially we those that use our cars for commercial purposes. If prices increase and then the online, drivers, prices of fuel increases and the online drivers cannot make up to, the prices as in sales and stuff. It means it's a big blow to the drivers in particular, because with the Uber driver or the Bolt driver, basically the online driver doesn't regulate price or doesn't bargain price on his own. The online bosses, which is the apps, Uber and Bolt, they decide prices for us. And it's a big blow to every sector, and it's really affecting with the drivers as well. So basically we are losing and losing and losing. You work the whole day and then you end up using the whole money buying fuel.
Definitely it will affect me, because if I had budgeted for 100 cedis that I'll use as my fuel for the whole month, and then suddenly in the middle of the month, we are in the second week of the month, then this kind of increment within a space of 2 weeks, we've had 2 increases. Definitely it's going to go against you, or it's to throw your budget off plans. So definitely you are going to feel the pinch. So basically that's what I would say.
We are in difficult times. You can imagine if you are in a big city like Accra, for instance, staying somewhere at Achimota or Asofa or that area, coming to work at the business center. Look at the traffic. You see, maybe formerly you were buying fuel, 1 gallon can take you to work and bring you back. This time around, the amount of money that you will use, it means you are going to increase. And being in the traffic too consumes a lot of fuel. Yeah, so to me, it's difficult.
David, have you passed down that cost to the consumer when they come to buy the shoes?
No, I have not. Because when I tried, but it's not working. You see, when they come in and then we bargaining, they all determine is there's no money in the system and blah 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 blah. So that is all. That's why I'm saying that it has drastically reduced my margin on the product.
Mm-hmm. And you've just said something that is very pertinent. There's no money in the system. Right. There's a liquidity crunch in the market. Right. Everybody is saying Ghana is hoard, and the value for money has reduced. Right. From your perspective as a business person, maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, give us an example, a practical one. Maybe if you had X amount of money, you would buy this amount of goods, and now that money can only get you X amount of goods. How has the time value for money changed for you?
Yeah, I think just 3 days, Monday, I was holding about 500 Ghana to the market. You see, this was to buy up only leather, which was 8 cedis per square. You see it. So the amount of money I was having, the quantity reduced drastically, because now they were telling me a square of a leather is 13 cedis. So now, if I'm supposed to use about 500 to produce about 5 shoes, now it is producing 3 pairs of shoes. Mm-hmm. You see, so basically it has reduced the profit margin.
Okay, right. Let's cross over and hear what Ghanaians have to say. What does money mean for them now? There was a time maybe 20 cedis was a lot of money. There was a time a cedi was equivalent to $1. There was a time where 100 cedis or 200 cedis meant something. What does it mean now?
20 cedis, yes, cow. 20 cedis in there. Me bomb you of my first no man 70 Ghana. Then me man 1 million 20 cedis. But 20 cedis mean
20 cedis has no value now. I used to give my wife 70 cedis for housekeeping. Now I give her 120 cedis. When I buy banku at Nima, I buy banku for 14 cedis and meat or fish 6 cedis. That is 20 cedis in total. A small ball of banku is 1 cedi.
If we come with market with 20 cedis, you return home or you go home with fish, please. From where you are, from the market, even the fare, how much it is. The lorry fare are very, 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 very expensive. That's what people are saying. Trust me. And due to fuel problem, yeah.
Akola kichwa kg 25 cedis and sawako school aba who taught drink.
A kindergarten pupil spends 25 cedis a day in school. Aside school fees, you buy food, drinks, etc. With 20 cedis, what are you buying? Pepper? Pepper costs 5 cedis, 2 cedis. Now we can't even buy meat and fish. 2 tomatoes cost 2 cedis. How much is 1 tomato now? 1 egg costs 1 cedi 50 pesos. A crate of egg is around 25 cedis.
A crate of eggs is now 25 cedis from 20 cedis. A lot is changing. Where do you foresee your business going if things keep going the way they're going?
Well, now, like I said, the dynamics is changing. So we also have to change our ways.
Mm-hmm.
Now what we have to do is just see how we'll convince the customers to agree to pay the markup, because it's not really what is on the ground, just something to survive the company. So that is what we are doing now.
Okay. And by survival, what do you mean? Will you be operating on the smallest profit margins that you get? Do you intend on raising your prices? Do you intend on shutting down the business and going down to another business? What do you mean?
No, now what we have to be doing is we have to be operating with a little margin. What we wanted before, we are not getting, because most of the customers are coming, we don't have money. They want the product. They need the product, but they don't have the capacity to buy what we are asking them. So they are always telling us to reduce the prices. So that is what we are facing now.
Okay, very well then. As we almost wrap up with you, we want to bring in an economist. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get through to Joe Jackson. He's stuck in a meeting, but we have Jerry Larry with us, who's a very able economist. Jerry, thank you for making time. Thank you for being on the program.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon for having me.
Okay, now Ghanaians are saying Ghana is hot. What fundamentals? Earlier on, Kwame had spoken about fundamentals that he thinks are broken in the country, but from an economist's point of view, where did the rain begin battering? Because it's not even beating, it's battering the economy. It's on its knees.
Yes, it's true that the economy is on its knees, and it's asking for us to do a lot of things to be able to get back to normal times. But just before I continue, let me just say something concerning what the other speaker was just saying, Kwame Russell. Customers are looking for products and they can't afford to pay to pick the product, if I understood him very well. I think that it also has to do with the structures that are prevailing in our economy. That we have decided to tie businesses to cash basis. And so, therefore, it's cash and carry everywhere we go. I think it's also not helping us. And yes, another debate that we can do, or we can have on another platform. But the cash basis of doing business in Ghana is actually not helping the situation too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that, and then some of our financial institutions are not helping, because if you have a client who is into merchandise and has been buying, and the client has a turnaround account which is with you, you should be able to guarantee. And we do have these derivatives that are around in the financial sector. We have letters of credit. You could guarantee for the client's name very well, the client's turnaround portfolio, and get the client's goods running, even though the client hasn't paid for yet. And these are things that I think that they are just available, but our financial institutions are not kicking in business to be able to support the business base of their clients. And so if the clients, if for a reason the clients cannot raise the bill, then the business suffers. And that is why I find saying that if their clients are looking for money, the clients simply cannot afford to pay to leave the goods that they want the goods. Their financial institutions are not helping them with that. But we didn't just get here like that. Like I said, the structures and the structures of our economy is so tough that we are net importers of products. We are primary importers of our raw materials. We don't add value to the things that we harvest in this country. So if you are running a country whose fundamental structures are based on import, then you are forced to feel the way we are feeling. And this has been our story. It goes and comes. And we prescribe short-term solutions, and then it goes and comes again. The long-term solution to these issues is to make sure that we add value to our primary products. If we are able to do that, and we turn around, become net exporters, not importers of the product, that is when our economic fundamentals and stories will change. Other than that, we will put every short-term measure, and we will still come back to the same situation. As you need. We will still come back here.
Well, before we go to the long-term measures, I mean, you've spoken about the short-term measures and you're saying the band-aid solutions. But the presidency, the office of the presidency has just put out measures. It said the cabinet agrees to border reopening within 2 weeks. Government appointees will take salary reduction of up to 30%. They've increased the lending rate by 17% rather. It went up by 250 basis points. And the government will be pumping $2 billion to rescue the city. Are these short-term measures? Are they band-aid solutions? Or they're setting us on a path to recovery?
One thing that we have to understand is that our economy is not robust to the extent that it simply responds whatever we do. If the economy was that robust, just by saying this, it should have been reflected. It should have reflected in everything that we do. But then, if you come back and say that the short-term measures we are going to cut down on expenditure is going to be the expenditure that the government can only touch are the discretionary expenditures. The statutory expenditures cannot be touched. The government can't do nothing about it. The discretionary expenditures, those expenditures are the capital expenditures, the expenditures on goods and services. Who do these things go to affect? It goes to affect the very livelihood of the people. And these are the only ones that the government can touch. You know what I'm saying? Now, when we come back to the monetary policy aspect of it, where the Bank of Ghana has come in to increase the prime rate to about 17% by 250 basis points. It's just trying to move up the excess liquidity in the system so as to be able to control the inflation and the position of the city. I believe we have an economy where everybody is complaining. Businesses are complaining, households are complaining, people are not spending. The inflation that we are encountering is not demand to inflation. It's cost push. It's cost push inflation because we don't produce items here. Or rather, the things that we also produce, the cost of production has gone up because the components of the production are not here. So when you are having to deal with such cost push inflation, what you do is that you employ supply side policies. And supply side policy is not to increase the interest rate. Why you increase the lending rate? Cost of borrowing becomes high. Money becomes a very difficult commodity to come back. Companies and individuals cannot borrow because they are going to borrow at a high interest cost. So just by increasing the lending rate, doesn't even it has disadvantages. So I'm trying to tell you that in the next run, money is going to be a difficult thing to come back. Because government is now mopping up the excess liquidity that they feel is the reason why there's so much inflation.
Jerry, you say money is going to be hard to come by, as is already. Ghanaians are saying the economy is hot. They don't have access to money, and when they have access to it, the value has reduced by substantive margin. So moving forward, are you saying Ghanaians should brace for tougher times?
Yes, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Because if you look at the fundamentals that we're facing, the global economic environment is not friendly. Thanks to the rating agencies, we are unable to go out there to attract foreign loans into the country, and even those that are already in there are trying to go out because of the economic conditions that we're facing. So I think that Ghanaians should tighten that up. The situation is not going to take us some time before we can get out of this quagmire I described it. It's going to be tough. And so therefore, people will have to plan and spend responsibly.
Okay. Jerry, I don't want us to sound like the prophets of doom. Any hope?
Yes.
Is there any hope? Are these measures going to do something, even if it's in the short term?
We can only hope that the government, the managers of the economy, will pursue and cut down expenditures that do not affect production. Because if you are going to cut down expenditures and you target affect production, then you are in trouble. But if they are able to do it very nicely and it doesn't affect production and output, then we can say that, well, in the short to medium term, there could be some relief. But I will advise, like I said, that we have to brace ourselves for a much tougher times to come before it can get better. And so we will have to do that by spending responsibly.
Jerry, that's where we leave it. Thank you very much for making time.
Thank you very much for having me.
David, when you hear an economist say it's going to get tough, how do you feel?
Very sad, because after the cabinet meeting and all that I heard from the news, I was believing that the interventions the government is talking about will help to cushion the system a bit, at least not for the prices to keep rising. So I believe these are things that we hoping will happen, because since they think pumping in more dollars and all these things will stabilize, I think we're hoping for the best.
Okay, and we want to bring you into the conversation. We want to open our lines very briefly and also hear your thoughts. We've been talking here for approximately 30 minutes, having a conversation, but these matters affect you. You're the one who's feeling the heat. You're the one who's had to restructure your budget. You're the one who looks at your salary. There was a time there was this meme which was funny but wasn't funny, was going around social media saying convert your salary into dollars and tell us how much you're earning. You're the one who has to see that, feel that, live through it. And we want to hear you. We want to hear your thoughts. You can get in touch with us via our social media platforms at Star 103.5 FM on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And also you can WhatsApp us at 0550313131. You can also call us on the same line, 0550313131. We'll be opening up our lines very shortly to have a conversation with you. However, we want to take some of your feedback on social media. We want to hear what you are saying on social media. And feedback has been coming in. Some of you are reacting to what some of our guests have been saying. Stacey B says, please, Kwame, A+ did not say this. The other guest, David, said this. It has to do with something that Kwame had said or was perceived to have said. Thomas Mensah says, you always do A+, don't pretend. Who then is to make sure that the system should work efficiently and effectively? You said government spending is too much, then you say you find it difficult to blame the government. I don't get the head and the tail of that. Well, there you have it. Stacey B is also saying spot on conversation, very relevant. It's very refreshing to have Ondiro Ganga hosting. David, before we pick a call, who do you think should be blamed?
Years back, but now it's become worse. You see it, because when you look at the fundamentals, you realize that MPP, what they did was they wanted to impress on the people that, oh, this and this is what we'll be doing. You see, one of the flagships, that is the free SHS. You see, I was not paying tax. I was paying tax stamp. But my boy was admitted to the free SHS. And when he comes back, he say, oh, this is free, that is free. So I say, hey. Then quickly I went to the GAR to file my tax returns that, oh, now because the government is taking part of the cost that I have to bear, now I'm coming to start to pay my tax. So these are things that we have to understand. You see, Ghana, our tax system, I don't think is too good.
Mm-hmm.
You see, it's not too good because you see, I always say that we don't know how to pay tax. You see, and it is the taxes that the government will use. And then the other way around is if we are paying the tax and we see the government, quote and unquote, there are some things that
you can say it, looting government.
No, looting, because what I saw somewhere is I counted about 40 when Nana was the convoy.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when I counted about 40
wastage of resources.
You see it. You see, because fueling, even these are small cars. When we go to the garage and we want to spend some money to service, and then look at all these things. You see, then you can see that there's a bit of waste in the system.
Mm-hmm.
So like A+ says, if we don't, whatever interventions we put in there, it's like we are using basket to collect the water. It will drain down.
Okay. Let's now cross over and talk to one of our reporters on GH1 here and also Star FM, Hanan. Hanan goes out to the field a lot. Most of the sound bites that you heard have been done by Hanan. He's always hearing you every single day. He comes out to you and asks you, how are you doing? How are you coping? Hanan, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear on zero.
When the microphone and the camera go off, what is the indignified truth that Ghanaians tell you about the real state of the economy and how they're coping?
Well, the moment the interview is done and there's no other person speaking at the moment, they begin to tell you what they actually go through on daily basis. Some of them are actually telling you that they've left work and they're going to visit either some big man somewhere or a friend somewhere just to borrow money or to beg money to go and solve one or two problems. Others, when you approach them and you put the question to them, then they look at you and ask, really? You don't know what is going on, you want me to steal it out again, walk away. Others, when you ask them, they appear very angry at government. And on the issue of taxes, for example, when you go off air, because they don't want to speak on air for the fear of victimization, they tell you that they don't have confidence in the government anymore. They believe that government is using the taxes they are paying to buy VA. And I remember when I did the Vox Pop on the expenditure of government and the introduction of new taxes, in particular the e-commerce tax, the people said they don't have any problem paying taxes, but they actually want to see their taxes being put into good use. They say they don't want to pay taxes when they see, for example, MPs, ministers, and other government appointees riding in big cars. That is most of their concern. They vent a lot when we are off air or when the interview is done. They vent a lot when the interview is done about the luxury life or the luxurious life some government appointees are enjoying. So some of them don't have problems paying taxes, but they actually want to see their taxes being put into good use. I remember when I went to the Millennium Market, for example, there was a woman that I met. She was venting a lot because she had visited the market to buy eggs, and then when she came, I think the last time she bought it at 25 cedis, but on that day when she visited, she was told it was 27 cedis, and that was the anger in her. When I attempted speaking to her, she was very harsh, but later she came down and she spoke to me. But if you really listen to the interview with her, you'll realize that she was very angry with the state of affairs in the country. So some of them actually will come out and vent on air or when the camera is on them. Others wouldn't want to speak much. And then when the interview is done, they tell you that the country is hard, there's no money, or either there's money, but they can't afford the life that they used to live before this recent increment in food prices, and then the introduction of new taxes on zero.
Okay, thank you very much, Hanan, for giving us that very raw and real situation on the ground. We want to pick just maybe one or two calls before we wind up, because this conversation is for you and about you. 055-031-3131, or you can call us on 0302-231-1144 or 030-2231-145. You can call us. You can send us a message via social media platforms. We will be taking that up shortly. But I want to take your closing remarks before we take just maybe one call.
Yeah, what I would like to say is that now what is happening is that the expenses are gone up, but the income is still the same. You see, so what we want the government to do is to stabilize the system, so that since we're not getting more income, the price increase will just minimize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that was all we had for you on the show. Every good thing has to come to an end. This was our debut episode. It's 1:54, and we are wrapping up. Times are hard, but Ghanaians are resilient people, and hopefully and surely the country has gone through a lot. Probably we will survive this. Every time you go to the market, you see the entrepreneurial spirit of Ghanaians, you see the hustle, you see the resilience. And that's what keeps this economy going. It's not about who's in leadership or what they're doing. It's what Ghanaians wake up and do every day. And Ghanaians have chosen not to give up on their country and their economy, and they keep pushing and keep doing what they need to do to survive. David, thank you for making time. Jerry, thank you for coming through last minute because we ran into a little bit of challenges. And also Kwame A+, thank you very much for being raw, being very real, and being very upfront. To the whole production team that made this a success, thank you very much. And coming up shortly will be Star Drive with Forster, Mimi K, and DJ Master J. My name is Ondiro Ganga. This has been Let's Talk Business every Wednesday, 1 to 2 p.m.